Yeah.
What is going on, traders? So this is going to be a video about what I call the bookmap style chart. This chart essentially helps us to see large trades and also trades that sweep the book. And when I say sweep the book, what I mean is that, let's say a large trader is selling 2,000 lots, but if you look at your depth of market, maybe 2 or 3 points down, there's only 1,500 lots of total liquidity on the book. And so, assuming there's no icebergs or anything between where they hit the bid and sell into the bid, multiple levels with that, say a big market order, that order will essentially fill every level of the book all the way down. And what you end up getting on this bookmap chart is, so you see this white line here. Here, hold on just a second. Let's see if we can change something. Okay. Anyway, if you see this white line here, you see how, okay, there's a blue line here and then kind of a red line here. Looks kind of pink right here. That's the best bid, which is the blue line, and then the best ask, which is the red line. And the white line is the last traded price. So you see how the last traded price here moves up, 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 and then the best bid and best ask, they don't actually shift. Well, that's someone essentially sweeping several levels of the book, and we can see how many it is. 1, 2, 3, 4 levels of the book here. So that's likely a stop, right? Or it could be a big trader buying what they consider to be a breakout level. But that is useful to know. So I want to just show you guys how to make this chart. So essentially what you need to do is you need to go into, and I don't have it up here, but you need to go into in Sierra chart, File, and then here I'll just read it out. File, Open, or New Open Intraday Chart. Okay, and then boom, a new chart's going to come up, and then you're going to go into the chart settings right away. So first, put your symbol in that you use for the routing service you use. Maybe it's something totally different than this. I use CQG routing in Sierra chart. But come in here, set your symbols, right? And then what you want to do, okay, and you don't want this chart to load too many days back, because it's essentially an intraday chart, but I have 8 days loaded for whatever reason. You want to go over here to the bar period type, and then just do volume per bar, okay? Set this to 100. What that's doing is, because the type of graph draw type we're going to select is line on close, right? So it's going to, when 100 trade volume transacts, it's going to print a new level, right, wherever the price is. And this is small enough for the ES, right, that when this prints down here and then you end up adding this ask bid volume difference bars, you're going to essentially be able to see very quickly when this maxes out at 100, right? Because we've got this the chart set to volume per bar. And so it's always going to max this out here because of this setting to 100. So you can quickly see how big this sweep was, right? You see right here, 100, 200, 300, 400, essentially a 500 lot here swept the ask, right? Okay, so that's why we set it up this way. So you do line on close, right? And then that kind of gets you the baseline. So essentially, what your chart should look like at this. Oh, sorry, I need to go in my studies. We're gonna just hide a lot of this until we use it. All right. So your chart will look like this, okay? Without this, this is just a countdown timer, so we'll hide that. So this is what your chart will look like, right? Just a price line that prints a new line every 100 volume, or essentially 100. Yeah, well, 100 contracts, right? So the next thing we do is we go in and we we add the bid and ask prices. So let's go in here and type in bid. All right, there you go. Bid and ask prices. Go ahead and add that. Okay. And then we go into the settings for it, right? And we make sure it's chart region 1. We're not hiding the study, so we'll unhide it. Then we just go into the subgraphs here, and then your bid line. Make sure it's line solid, maybe 1 wide, something nice and bright, okay? So that you have, just a good comparison to whatever background you have, or keep in mind that this will have to be a color that doesn't blend into some of the other studies in the future. So anything nice and bright is good. So anyway, change these colors, okay? Go ahead and apply it. And now what do you see? All right, you see a best bid and ask line over a price, right? And so you can kind of really clearly see what we were talking about before, right? This little difference here, or the best bid and ask. See, the reason that happens is because you have a chart update interval for whatever you have it set as. And essentially, when someone buys through the book, right? Whoosh, they buy through the book. The best bid and ask don't instantly fill in. So you have, like, on your time scale, look down here. Oh, here, we'll get rid of this studies screen here. All right, look at the time. So it's 13:46:07. Then look here. Sorry, let's see. I missed it here. 07. It happened at 13. So 13:46:13. Now watch. I'll move it over. We're looking at the bottom of the screen. All right. If you were to look at time and sales, there would be hardly any difference between all the what would show as big buys, essentially. There'd be hardly any difference between this point and this point. Okay, so that's why this kind of works. And I found that the 100 volume makes it nice and easy to know, hey, every time it prints a new level, it's 100, or not a new level, but just a new bar. If it's at a different level, right? This might have been more than 100 volume here. We don't know. But anyway. So anyway, let's go back into the studies. Okay. So we did the bid and ask prices. Okay. So the next thing you should do is go in and do ask /bid volume difference bars. All right. So let's type that in. Make sure. There you go. So go ahead and add that. Okay. We'll go into the settings. And just set this to no. We're putting this in chart region 1 so that it's down here at the bottom. And then, make these colors, it's going to be its own separate region. So, you don't have to make extra light or whatever color. So just theme it out according to how you like it. The graph draw type, I just do candlestick bars. Okay. I use my chart settings. Chart graphic settings for the subgraph colors, so it's easy. All right, and I have that set up in global settings, graphics and all that. So it's, clicking this makes it easy on these kind of charts. All right, so then we go ahead and I'm going to unhide this. So then we apply it. Hey, you see what comes down, what gets filled in down here? So notice, right? We can count the volume bars, right? This is what, 100. This is 30. So essentially, right, as price moves 100 volume, right, and then it, maybe, and it's pushing through a level or something, right? So here it pushed through, here it pushed through. There was a little sell, and then the big level was broken here from 69.50, and it went all the way up to 70.50, right? So, what was that? Just a point, right? But it swept the book nonetheless. 1, 2, 3, 400 contracts, essentially, through this level, right? So, or approximately. You can see the bars aren't exact, but it's pretty darn close. So for maybe 450, 500, something like that, contracts swept through here. You could look at the time and sales, but anyway, that is what this is showing, because this ask bid volume difference bar is essentially showing you your buying and your selling deltas, right? So we can see obviously a lot more buying through this whole level, right? From here on, it was just buying, a little profit taking here into these levels as the bid came in. It consolidated, the selling dried up, and then whoosh, right here, big buying again. You see that? 1, 2, like 500, 600 contracts again. And then a little bit of profit taking right after. Didn't really push back, so they're hitting the bid, and it's not really pushing price down. You could see that. And then here again, someone sweeps the book, showing aggression. So what big players like to do is accumulate a level, all right, buy up, and then try to distribute higher, right? So what they try to do is buy through a level and then start selling a level quite a bit higher and developing value there. So like that's the new level. Then traders, the liquidity fills in, and then over time they distribute that position. And if you follow auction theory, TPO, market profile and stuff like that, time value over time, we start to, the market starts to accept value the longer we trade there, right? And larger players know this, and so they want to hold up prices until hey, they can distribute their whole position from wherever they bought earlier. So they'll de-risk in levels, but they will continue to prop up price. And if price doesn't just turn around and reject, then they're golden, right? They can get out of their position, buy pullbacks, and try to do it again if they're bulls, right? So anyway, what this ask bid volume difference bars does is it just allows you to see that initiative and the actual size, because again, back to this chart setting, it's set to 100 volume. All right, so let's go back into the studies real quick again here, and let's now add cumulative delta. Okay, so let's go find your cumulative delta volume. All right, so we type that in, cumulative delta bars volume. This is the study. Go ahead and add it. Go into your settings. All right, so I like to restart this at the start of the trading day and at both session start times, and that will just refer to your chart setting session start and end times. So it'll just reset for whatever you consider the overnight session and then the start of the day trading session. So that's what these are. I like these to reset, right, so that you can kind of see what each session has done independently. Right, so you'll end up having cumulative delta with these settings set to yes. You'll have cumulative delta that measures from 9:30 Eastern to whatever you set as the close. For me, it's the cash close. Oh no, for me it's actually let's see, 5 p.m. Eastern now. Yeah, I think that's what it is. 5 p.m. Eastern. And then we have the hour close, and then mine then resets after that. That's just what I choose to do right now, but you guys might do something different. So anyway, on this, go into your subgraphs. Again, for this, I have it set to where it's based on positive or negative, like right here. So based on positive, negative, set your colors, and then so that's just what it's using, and it's using I believe it's line on close is what it's using for the graph draw type for that. Okay, so let's go back. I like to put in chart region 3, so underneath this one. So let's go ahead and hit apply. Oh, sorry, hide steady, hit apply. And now you have your cumulative deltas. Okay. And that's just that's a visual to show you obviously the cumulative delta, but it'll essentially match short term what these deltas do. You see this? Let's see, right here. It's just a perfect delta spike. You see that? Right here, just straight up. So it's adding up all of these essentially. Right? So it's just a different visual, and so you can sort of track your deltas over a time period, right? You can see deltas were dropping here, so they're hitting the bid, hitting the bid, hitting the bid. Price is going perfectly sideways, right? And then as soon as they start buying, right? Whoosh, big moves up, right? So they absorbed. You can see that just by the way that price moved, or deltas moved down. Price essentially was flat through here. You see that? Okay, let's undo that. So that's useful. And then based on the draw style, you can see where the deltas are negative. Here, let's see if we can find somewhere that there's negative delta on the day. There you go. See that? So the cumulative delta on the RTH session here was negative, so it's drawing it as red, right? So it's just nice and clean. Hey, we can see a big sweep, can't we? Look right here. It got up here to 58, and someone swept the book all the way down to 56. Now, if you were in Discord, yep, so I'm just looking at this. If you were in Discord, this is kind of and you were part of my, you're not part of my contributors in Discord, but I essentially called out at the time that below 57.75, you're going to get a whole bunch of stops. And that's essentially someone swept it, cleared a lot of these stops, and then off they went to the races, right? So what'll sometimes happen is, and let's see, how big was this sweep? Here, we still have it on the hand. There we go. Let's count it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 10, 15, 20. See that, right? So you could, after a while, you get good. You say like, this is about 10, this is 20. Oh, okay, 2,000 lots. So where did it sweep from? 58 all the way to 56. So 2 points, 2,000 lots, right? So they likely found the liquidity here. And that's probably what they were going for. Again, we don't see volume, so we don't know exactly if it paid for them, but it likely did. Probably likely got people on the wrong side here. There was a 15-minute bar structure that would trigger a lot of bears. So, that's what they did. They got everybody shorting, and then retail's now out of position, and then they just bought it up. So, can you see why setting it to 100 volume is super helpful? Right? I hope you guys can. Let's see. Let me switch something over here. Oh, 20 minutes already. Gotta move faster. Okay, so, but I like explaining as I go so that you guys are a little bit more informed as to how this works, right? So I'm showing you a little bit how to build it, but I'm showing you also why it works, or explaining to you why it works. So anyway, we can move this down a little bit like this. All right, so now we've got the cumulative delta in there. Let's see, let's move this all the way over. Market is closed right now. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is go into studies. The market depth historical graph is cool. Okay, so we're going to add this one. So let's find it here, market depth historical graph. See, I have another video that kind of goes over this, but it's really long and it's mixed in with some other live trading and stuff. It's like an hour and a half. Figured this will be a lot. I do tend to go on these little side rants, but this will be a little bit more digestible for a lot of you guys. Okay, so market depth historical graph, go ahead and add it. Let's go into the settings. Okay, so the way I have it set up is, these are the colors I like to personally use. I just going with my theme here. I like gray, and then the greater the quantity at the bid or ask, the wider it is, and then at some point when it hits the max quantity, blue is like, stupid hot. It's a big bid. So here, use range minimum colors. Absolutely. See, these are the range minimum colors right here. See that? Range 3, range 2 minimum. So yes, use those. Use percent or actual volumes for threshold levels. Use percents for the threshold levels for coloring. So I do 20, 40, 60 works nice. This would be for actual, okay? Minimum volume intensity percent, just leave that alone. Color types greater than highest quantity for coloring. Yeah, definitely. Right, that way, highest quantity for coloring, it just wouldn't color anything above that. So yeah. So I have this set right now on ES for, 600 gets me essentially bright blue. Okay. So value type for lowest quantity for coloring, the actual value, lowest quantity for coloring, I say 250. Now, we can change that, but then you're going to have a whole screen full of color. And to me, that's distracting. So, I want to see some size, but I also don't want to see, every little difference in the book, right? The algos and liquidity moves around quite often. I want to see the more significant stuff. So, but we can change this to say, I don't know, 200. Today, the liquidity out there, I guess there was a lot of 200 out there. Extend last known depth, sure. Number of minutes last known depth, 60. Show quantity numbers only after the last bar. Otherwise, you're going to get the quantity inside each bar, and it just turns into a mess. The bid quantity numbers color, right? Because we have this organized in this way with these colors, the bid quantity numbers color, because it's shades of gray here. So this is what, 255, so that's perfectly white. This is 255. So this would not show up in here. Okay, so what ends up happening, so now this is a little bit more complicated, so just try to follow me. Use secondary numbers color for quantities greater than this. And that secondary color is 400. Right? So since we've done a little bit of math here, and we're saying 600 is the max, 200 is the low, and then it's the percent color thresholds, in other words, what the background color is based on this 400 will, when it's 400 or greater, instead of being white, it'll be black. So essentially what you'll typically have is this color when it's, the minimum ask color for that range. That's what, 60% of max will have a black background, or black font. I'm sorry, black font. So secondary numbers color for quantities greater than 400 is black. Okay, so display market depth quantities after last bar. Yep. So anyway, just fill space. You can copy all of this. The video will be too long. So anyway, let's apply it now based on these settings. There's no subgraphs. Okay, just hit apply. See that? Now we have some depth. So what that is showing you is where there's decent liquidity under the best bid and ask. Right. So let's move this around. Oh, okay. See, look. Up here at 75, nice round number. Look, this liquidity has been up here for a while, since after the cash close, right? So about almost 15 after, they added this liquidity up here, right? So significant. Again, the market's closed, so it's not populating this right now. Otherwise, you would essentially see black and the total here, right? So you could see they increased the ask quantity up here. So let's see what it looks like where there's more liquidity, right? See that? As price came in here, it tapped it. These guys were filled. As you can see, there's liquidity here. They were filled. Price pushed up. They bought. Maybe shorts started covering. Who knows? Then they started adding the liquidity right after here. Right? And you see how dark blue that is? Big liquidity. They didn't want to touch it. Liquidity up here. So several levels of the book, probably you're looking at 4 to 6 or 7 to 400 or something in this area, just stacked up on the book, right? So this is, it's near the close, but you can kind of see what's happening with price, essentially, right? So this is just another tool. Let's see if we can see this. Okay, this is just another tool to show you. Okay, let's see. We can look at the ask bid volume difference bars and see there's initiative. Maybe we see an order that gets swept in this area, right? We see cumulative volume. Maybe we see this absorption here, right? And see how this is coming down. So cumulative delta volume is dropping, but price isn't dropping. Okay, as soon as they buy a little bit, price breaks out of this. We'll call this a balance area, right? So as soon as they started buying here, right here, you see how the delta just starts to go up and just barely meets this level here. I'll go like this. You see that? And price is already moving way up. So what's the path of least resistance right now? It's definitely up. Okay, and you can just see the buying. And if you looked on time and sales, you'd just see a bunch of big buys going in this direction. Okay, so anyway, let's go back to the studies. Now we want to add another thing here, and that is the large volume trade indicator. Okay, so this is called large volume trade indicator. See, there it is. Add it, go into the settings. And so we want to put like a volume threshold. So trades bigger than 15 or greater will then print these little circles. So, okay, draw mode is based on total volume above threshold. The bid dominant color range minimum. So essentially, you want to have colors that are light enough. You can even go lighter than this, like that, so that when they're on top of each other, you can see the difference, right? And then here, you could even do something like, I don't know, like slightly darker. Okay, click apply. And then the ask dominant range color minimum, again, something really light so that there is a distinct comparison between colors when they overlap. Again, we can go a little darker on this one. Okay, so the indicator size, 0 to 100. Right, so we'll say on this. We're going to ignore this because we're using the automatic indicator size. So set this to yes. The minimum, so the minimum would be whatever you have set for, let's say, this color, which is this light pink. And then the maximum size for the actual indicator would be 55, right? So you could kind of play with this, but I have it set 5 and 55. Okay, and you'll see what it looks like. And then I have it set to use transparent draw style. The reason is because I want to be able to see through all of those bubbles that show orders, and I want to see them overlapping. Okay, so use transparent draw style, yes. Color, marker color size based on what? Visible bars. So essentially, if this is set to all loaded chart bars, then if you had like, say, like a 900 lot back in the RTH session that had printed, all these other bubbles would look very small. So I have it not to, I'll all loaded chart bars, but visible only, right? That way I can see how big it is relative to what's on the screen. But you may prefer the other, and that's perfectly okay. Me, I like to see the price action compared to a more recent time. So you could see here again. This chart is based on volume, so it's going to move faster the lower this is set to, right? So 100 volume, this can go by pretty quick. You just have to play with it and see in real time. But again, 100 volume to me is still nice even for RTH. Okay. So percentage above medium for maximum volume in chart, just leave this at 25. The marker horizontal alignment, we do center. Entire marker vertical alignment, high of bar. It's just a little bit easier to see for me based on the line on close that we have set here. And then the bid text color, I don't really use text because I go marker style, circle, draw volume text, which would be this color here, and I say none. Okay, so I don't, it just becomes a little bit too much, right? When you put the text in there. You can put it in there. So all of this you just set to ignore. So anyway, I had it hidden, so we're going to apply it to see what this looks like now. There you go. Now let's take a look. So you see what I was talking about with the colors? You see how you can see there's separate sell orders here? And there's another one here, not as big as this one. Right here, this big red one. You can see this one. You can see little buys, little buys. So this was all big absorption, right? This big absorption, we could see that's just absorption. Again, the deltas are going down, but price is not going up. So essentially, they're hitting bids. So there's negative delta, but price is not moving down with that. So buyers are passively absorbing all the sells, right? And then very little size buys take this thing up very quickly. So essentially, they can thin liquidity here. They can remove liquidity, start buying just a little bit, and shorts are now forced to cover. So this is all a little bit of initiative buying, and all these short people who are wrong in this level, hitting these big orders, now being forced to cover in this direction. Okay, so that's what that kind of, it's useful for seeing that where it's going off. Okay, so let's go to your studies now. So we've got this on, we've got this. Your countdown timer, you don't really need that, but in case you want it, I've got this set to just like this. All right. So we'll hit apply. Essentially what that's going to do is going to count it down from 100, right? So RV stands for remaining volume out of 100. So maybe that's useful, maybe not. Maybe it's information overload. Maybe leave it off until you get comfortable with this chart setup. And then here's the colors for it. I don't use this background, right? I think transparent label background, yes. So, I just don't use it. This is current price line, so it'll, just set up. So that's the current price line for the ask bid volume difference bars. Should probably even change the color. See, this is part of an old color scheme. So let's put white on there. All right. So all that's going to do is, it's based on the ask bid volume difference bar, which is this study here. Actually, let's do, let's see, this one and this one for color. All right. So, you're basing it on this. You'll have to actually change this, and it's chart region 2, and then we'll unhide it, and then you'll see what it does. See that? So there's a line now. When it's dropping below 0, it'll color it red. When it goes above, it'll be blue. Right, based on this positive, negative, these colors. So anyway, hey, fixing some of my charts. Okay, and then this one, it's the same thing. The cumulative delta line, again, it's probably some old colors, but let's unhide it. Go into the settings. Again, this is region 3. Oh, I guess it's actually right. Again, based on the study in region 3, so make sure you select that, right? You can copy all of that to get it the way I've got it, right? So here's the line at last bar left to right. That way it goes across the whole thing. Right, that way you can kind of see where it is hitting relative to, I don't know, maybe support and resistance if you like to do TA on cumulative deltas. Anyway, let's apply that. So you see that the line goes all the way across. I like having my current price line go all the way across on charts because, you know, let's say this bottom area here was price, and it's moving up, and then this is like previous resistance. You can just look left here and see it's bouncing off what was previous resistance becomes support. So I like the line going across my whole screen. So that's kind of cool for support resistance trading. It gives you a very quick visual on, again, prior levels. So anyway, that's what that is. Current price line is just for price. All right. So that'll be added somewhere. It's up somewhere at the top now. Okay. So that's the whole. Right up here. There you go. So that's that price line. See. So there you go. There's the whole chart and kind of how to build, or why not how to build. I'm already getting distracted thinking about what else I want to talk about, and also what each thing does and why it's relevant, and you know how it can help you in your trading. So there's one other thing I wanted to show you guys, which is time and sales, and why it's really important. So let's go open time and sales window. There it is. Okay. So in your time and sales, I'm just going to show you guys this. Try this with same, let's see, price and type. So this is going to combine records in your time and sales for anything that's at the same price and it's the same type, meaning it's a bid or an ask order. So what that can help you do is it'll just be one line here and the volume will increase at that one line as long as the last sale is someone hitting the bid. And then this will just be one line. So what you can see in your time and sales is absorption. Okay. So there's that. You can turn your grid lines on or off, whatever. I'm keeping the title bar on or off. Then you could also go in here. So I'm only showing price and volume. Highlight and alert by field. Okay. So we're going to say by volume. And we're going to say when volume is greater or equal to whatever you think is good, but let's say 10 lots or greater, okay? Then color the row. So volume is greater or equal or greater, however you like to say it. Color the row, okay? I hit apply. Now look at this. So in this level, we know that this was a 10 lot sell or greater, a 10 lot or greater. Okay, so let's go change this. Let's go change it to 20. See how it affects it. Look at that. See? So you see when the volume is greater, it's shading it. So that's kind of cool, right? You can also, for your input filtering, you can say, well, I don't want to see all the small orders come through. I just want to see big lots. All right, we'll change this. Look at that. So now these are 10 or greater lots. You see how that will affect things? Okay, and we could even, let's see, say 30 or greater, right? So you see this is using this field, right? So maybe it's not telling you the lot size. This is telling you the lot size. So if you unfilter it, so do not combine it, now we can apply it. So now it's showing you the exact lot size, right? And then now we can say Okay, if volume's 10 or greater, or I don't know, let's see, 20 or greater. So it'll highlight this one, and that's about it. Yeah, so if volume is 20 or greater, now you're getting a highlight. Okay, so this highlight is controlled in global settings, graphics settings. Here, all right, I'll bring this in. And it's the time and sales area. So time and sales, bid highlight, you see that? That's the red that we have here. Bid highlight text, that's the gray. Okay, if I wanted to make that brighter, watch this become brighter. Not that noticeable, but on my other monitor it's noticeable. So let's see. I like it here. I could see it barely. Maybe you guys can see it on YouTube. So your ask highlight, okay, there's the blue and the text for that. Okay, so and what that's going to do is going to cue you to the fact that there's big orders coming through here. So if you have this coming through, maybe up here you put a little space for it on the right, as well as all of this, you can really do some awesome order flow trading, guys. So anyway, I hope you guys find this video useful. Again, you know, yeah, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. So one of the things a lot of people like to do, combine into exchange reported original trade summary, because this can actually help you to see the order flow a little bit better. What you have to do, let's see. All right, let me just mess around with this. 10. So that didn't do it. Let's see what is. I'm just looking to see what's going on here. So volume 10. So the way that this input filtering works, I think it's not based on this. So you've got to put the input filtering here 10, and then also here 10 as well. And let's see if that filters it all. Watch. There you go. So if you wanted to combine into exchange reported original summary, and then filter the volume, the values, put it in both places. I don't know exactly why that is, but that's how it works. So anyway, and then you get a C size, and you can you know, open up multiple time and sales, maybe not for the same chart. So let's see, open time and sales. Let's see, there is no more time and sales opening up for this chart. So if you have another ES chart, open up a time and sales for it, drag it over here, and filter it maybe for bigger size, because it doesn't allow you, it doesn't seem to allow me to do multiple time and sales per chart. So you have to open up another chart. Most people have multiple ES charts up, you know, different types of charts. So you can do that for each one and then just drag it over the screen you want. Have it always set it to always on top, right? Detach or attach to what you're using, or just always on top. And then again, filter for like 50 or greater, or 100 or greater, or whatever. And then you can just see where the size traders are going off in addition to this visual. So anywho, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you on Twitter and hopefully Discord, which is where I kind of hang out during the day and post my analysis, mainly with the guys that are in my private group, but every once in a while. I do try to engage with anybody that asks questions or shares their charts, especially if it's interesting. Just because they're not part of the private group, anybody that shows initiative is curious about trading and passionate, I'll engage with them. So anyway, have a good one and happy trading. Take it easy.